You are now tuned into the sounds of Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
Tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, your host, Nathan Snell.
This is how I believe, okay? I'm from the old school. I believe this. I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it. I want winners. I want people that want to win.
Well, what happened was that second game, we got our ass kicked, or the second half. We just got our ass totally kicked. We couldn't do diddly poo offensively. We couldn't make a...
I'm going to reiterate my comments right here, right now. The clock is officially ticking.
Skip. Good Lord. Thank the good Lord I am on FCC Airwaves. I thank the good Lord. It's hard to take, man. I don't understand it. I don't understand how these dudes put themselves in the situation. I truly do not understand it. That's the kindest way I can put it. I think to go any further than that, Skip, I might lose it. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay.
I'm just not gonna lie to you.
Well, let me pick up the ball and try to not run with it, but walk with it.
And thank you, Mr. Anthony Handy, for that wonderful introduction, as always. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a great weekend. Hope you had a wonderful Thanksgiving holiday. December is here. This is episode 422 of the podcast. We're painfully talking about the Baltimore Ravens. Before we get into the video, there's a couple things I want to say up front. The next episode, 423, is the Washington Commanders. That video we recorded as soon as this one's finished. Episode 424, 425. It's Maryland basketball, men's and women. The men's schedule has been a bit hectic to keep up with. They did play Alcorn State over this past weekend, but that was also during the time when the women's basketball team was doing the Navy Classic, which I had the opportunity to cover down in Annapolis. So that was something. So be on the lookout for those recaps. Maryland football is officially over as of this past weekend. So be on the lookout for that video. The WNBA expansion draft is this upcoming Friday. So after that, there'll be a mock draft 3.0. The last one hasn't been uploaded yet, but I'll have that one uploaded probably sometime today. If not, as this video is recorded, I'll probably have it. If it's not today, it's tomorrow at the latest. So please continue to like, comment, and subscribe for all future content. Thank you for the support you've given me and this channel. It is much appreciated. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot begin to tell you how frustrating this season has been for us. I feel like we should have won games that I think are easily winnable. And as I'm making my adjustment on my banner here, week 13, the Baltimore Ravens and the Philadelphia Eagles face each other this weekend, and the Philadelphia Eagles defeated the Baltimore Ravens, the final score, ladies and gentlemen, was 24-19.
I just don't know what to say. I don't know what to say. This is disgusting. It's disgraceful. It's embarrassing. And I'm ticked off. It don't make any sense. This is unacceptable. Unacceptable. And something needs to be done about it. Quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Okay, I'm going to start off by saying this. I'm not surprised we lost this game, because the one thing that has been plaguing the Ravens over and over and over again is the Baltimore Ravens itself. The Ravens find ways to hurt themselves, and it's going to continue to happen unless there are some forms of adjustment. I find it quite frustrating when you look at kind of how everything went. Sure, we can blame Justin Tucker on how everything looked, from the 7 points off his foot that were missed. Derrick Henry should have been leaned on more by Todd Monken. The defense, I thought, for the most part, until the fourth quarter, did its job. But I really, really, it trickles down to one thing, and I'm going to say it, and as this video progresses, but let's just, I'm just going to get the elephant out in the room. I already know people are going to ask. It's Justin Tucker. Listen, I don't think, first and foremost, special teams, which I think has been the bread and butter for the Baltimore Ravens for well over a decade now, there's definitely a problem. That it's been if I had to put a title on this season for Justin Tucker, and really not just Tucker, the special teams as a whole, uncharacteristic is the first one that comes to mind. He missed 3 kicks, Justin Tucker, 2 field goals, an extra point. Those 7 points definitely mean something. To me, I think I'm not going to put all of that on him. Talon Wallace struggled to field punts. He almost lost a fumble and made a couple of bad choices not to field that were down inside our own 5-yard line. I'm a bit confused because when John Harbaugh was hired back in 08 or 06, in Philadelphia, he was a special teams coordinator. So I'm not understanding why are we playing beneath our standards. What's sad, what's now bad about what's happening with the special teams is now because my confidence level at one point with Justin, I now have to take it down another notch, because now I'm not confident in him. But also, at the same time, there are certain times we're putting him in positions where we shouldn't have to. We shouldn't be expecting him to just, he'll go out there and bail us out. Our offense now may have to think about being aggressive on 3rd and 4th down, and who should be fielding punts. For a while there it was Devin Duvernay, but he's not here. You have Justice Hill. This got to think of some other options. In my next point, our offense. It starts with Todd Monken. I think Todd Monken is a good offense. Good is the word I want to use. Is a good offensive coordinator, but the reality is this is not Georgia. I think he's trying to do too much. I think he's trying to put an air raid system with this roster, and that simply just is not going to work. It's just not. Like I don't understand. You have a man beast and Derrick Henry in your backfield. If you look at the stats, we outgained Philadelphia on the ground by more than 20 yards. I mean, respectfully, I don't count that practically the 40 yards by Lamar on that last drive. I don't count that because that was garbage time. But I mean, they were fairly moving the ball on the ground, and even in the 5 losses, he didn't carry the ball. He touched the ball 19 times, but we're 5-0 when he carries the ball 20 or more times, rush for 100 yards. Although I get it that it's more where you're allowing Justice Hill to be out there in certain situations. But in the second half Sunday, I didn't see that. My question for Todd is, well, you're down 2 points at halftime. You went away from the run game on the first drive after you picked up 25 yards on your first 3 plays. Why did you do that? And then you you passed the ball 5 times on your next six plays that unfortunately Lamar was sacked for loss of 14, and then that was Justin Tucker's second miss from 47 yards inside the 40. Next example, the fourth quarter cheat switch was turned on. There were we ran the ball 3 straight times, first down, passed the ball 4 times. After that, Philadelphia was the momentum, took the lead. We had plenty of time. I remember correctly, we had under 8 minutes left in the game. He touched the ball 1 time after getting a first down, after getting 10 yards. That doesn't make sense. So now my question is, okay, is it what is difficult about not using him in situations? Because you had plenty of clock. Listen, and sometimes, and that lets me know that I think John is playing a role in the play calling, because for a guy, I don't understand how he touched the ball that late in the fourth quarter, just that one time, and you don't go to him, but yet you're not seeing results otherwise offensively anywhere else. And then if you look on the Philadelphia side, Saquon Barkley really wasn't that aggressive. I mean, Baltimore kept Saquon in check until the fourth quarter. I mean, that touchdown came in the fourth quarter. So like, he wasn't doing anything consistently through the first 3 quarters. So it's just weird. I just don't understand what Monken is trying to do. I think, and I think maybe it's just, maybe he feels as though, no, I'm just going to stick to this, because it's kind of like, well, that's what we say. We mean make adjustments, but I mean, like, just go away from the run game on the first drive at the fourth quarter, especially, that makes no sense to me whatsoever. And then I stick on the offense. Listen, and this lets me know that for me, because I'm at this point, I'm checked out with the Ravens, because every week I keep hearing the same old line. We'll look back at the tape, we'll figure it out. We'll have conversations. All this stuff. I just don't. I want a coach to take accountability for for what he puts out on the field. Besides, we've addressed Todd Monken's play calling and putting together consistent drives. Because if you look, our offense as a whole, I mean, we have like 300 some yards, total yards, but it wasn't a great, because when you have 2 players, I think, like, just nothing involved. Like you're seeing Zay Flowers, he's frustrated. I know Keaton Mitchell was a healthy scratch. Rasheen Ali, he didn't take a snap. Deontay Johnson didn't see the field. I didn't understand that. So I'm just confused on what we're doing, because Rashard Bateman had suffered a knee injury in the game. It's a sore knee. So now I'm confused. So you traded Deontay Johnson, you got him essentially for free, and you're not using him. So then my question then for John and for Eric DaCosta, what is he here for? Now I understand as an insurance policy for Zay Flowers, but you had the opportunity to put him in the game Sunday, and you didn't do that. I mean, I'm confused. Maybe I don't know if it's just. And speaking of that, that goes into my next point. We've really had a hard. Listen, this offense, respectfully, it goes through Lamar and Derrick Henry. We know that, but when you have playmakers like Zay Flowers, Mark Andrews, Rashard Bateman, to me, Rashard Bateman didn't have a single target the whole game until the knee injury in the second half and didn't come back. And simply, I don't buy that he had. I mean, knee soreness, okay, that's fine, but you didn't target him before the injury. That doesn't make any sense. And then Nelson Aguilar, he tried to get him deep down the field, but one of them went through his hands, and because he just did not do a good job getting much separation, and that's been that was an eyesore to see. And then you're seeing Zay Flowers. He was visibly upset for a couple. I mean, there's a couple non-calls I think defensively Philadelphia got away with on him, but also too, I just think Lamar just didn't look his way. And I mean, he finished with 3 catches, 74 yards, but after that halftime, he wasn't even used. So, yeah, it just. I'm really, really confused on what I'm seeing as a cohesive unit offensively, and sticking and to sum all that up, like, to me, like, the problem, and this is where I'm going to say the Ravens lack a leader. Let me clarify that. When I say leader, I mean somebody. I'm gonna give you an example. I'm gonna stick with Ravens. Many years ago, maybe 12, so around that, the Ravens were playing the Buffalo Bills at home. Okay. This is when the Bills had, I think it was Ryan Fitzpatrick and those guys. I want to say, yeah. And the Bills take I think it was like a 24. It was like a 21-13 lead, something like that. Ray Lewis is rallying the guys on the bench as a leader, letting those guys have it. Because defensively, offensively, they're struggling. What happens after that? Offensively, they're put together. I remember the flea flicker and Anquan Bolden. I think it was maybe Willis McGahee who got a couple of nice runs off. Just when I look at that with the Ravens, and especially in a game like this, where you already have people saying this is the MVP game, where you're seeing more Eagle fans in the stands than Raven fans. And I don't see anybody kind of getting somebody fired up. Because you know why? Because respectfully, it starts with the head coach. This goes back to when we won the Super Bowl against San Francisco. Go back and look at that when they had the speeches out on the field. It's something, I think it was Ed Reed that might have said something. Because essentially, I feel like for the longest, John has always had this vendetta. It's just my opinion of it was not him that won the Super Bowl. Respectfully, it wasn't him. I mean, he played a role, but it was those guys, Ray Lewis, Ed Reed, and Anquan Bolden. Those guys played a significant role in us winning the championship. John Harbaugh, to me, for the last since he's been here, has been trying to prove I don't need an Ed Reed. I don't need a Ray Lewis. I just need yes men around me and X, Y, and Z. He just wants nice guys and yes men. And that's what's going to hold this team back from true success. I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm just being honest. When I watched the game, I didn't see anybody getting fired up. I just kind of go like, oh, well, that was not a failed drive. Fuck it. Excuse my language, but that's a reality. Like, who's the leader? Somebody's got to get somebody going offensively. Lamar, you're a 2-time MVP. Take over the game. Respectfully, it should not take. I love Miss Jones. Shout out to Miss Jones. It should not take her to call him up and saying, you need to run the ball more. You got coaches and film and saying, why are you not taking off? If that's what has gotten you to where you're at this point of your career, go with it. But I just think, and again, this is where I blame national media, because I think players, coaches, they see and they hear and they watch what these guys say on TV. So I think a lot of that is playing a role. But my point is, we simply we got checked. Mentally, we're not. This is not a Super Bowl team. It's not. And that is an honest critique of the Ravens. And we could disagree. I mean, we tried in the fourth quarter, but I mean that check down on the, I don't know why we're checking down on the 3rd and 11. That made no sense. Cooper DeJean, I mean, he laid flat a 247-pound running back. If that doesn't mentally go like, damn, like that just happened. I mean, from this, we don't have to go to that play. I mean, the second quarter, they were the more physical team. Lamar got sacked, was buried for that 14-yard sack. I mean, and again, a lot of it also too is that offensive line. And I'm convinced he just doesn't like being Cleveland. I'm convinced. Voorhees got hurt, and the rationale was, well, the offensive line has been playing great, so we're not going to mess up the chemistry. Okay. So that doesn't make any sense. But the fact that, again, you have a right tackle that's playing right guard, like I don't know what he's trying to prove with that. I don't. I really don't. But I mean, our receivers struggled to get separation, and when they did, because Lamar couldn't do anything because he's getting flushed out the pocket by a pass rush, because the offensive line is getting beat, and he got sacked 3 times and he was hit 6 times. I mean, defense. Every just physically, mentally, we were just psyched. We were bullied. Philadelphia was the better team. Now, stats-wise, the statistics won't show that, but we lost this game because they came in here just like Kansas City in the AFC Championship game. That's what it felt like. But a lot of it starts with coaching. I'm looking for the leaders on this roster. Something's got to change, because everyone keeps saying this is a Super Bowl team. I don't see it. Please tell me where you see a Super Bowl with this roster, because there's games that they should have won. Vegas, that should have been a win. Oh my gosh, Kansas City, okay, but this one right here, that should have been a win. Pittsburgh, like, games that you should win. I'll get more into that in a little bit, but I'm going to go into a positive. Really, honestly, and truth was our defense. Our defense for 3.5 quarters gave gave Lamar and the offense a chance, but unfortunately, we say with Sean Spencer shot to him and Will Kramer with the bend but don't break. Unfortunately, they broke in the fourth quarter. But again, that Saquon Barkley touchdown in the fourth. But I mean, the defense, they did their job most of the entire game. Listen, I know we have been hard on Zach Orr, but I have to give Zach Orr some credit. They held the ranked third offense in the league to 252 yards. That's the second lowest of the season for the Eagles. And they finished with 140 yards running the ball, 53 yards lower than their season average. I have to give Zach Orr and the defense some credit on that.
Congratulations! Oh my God.
I mean, and then also too, just in the third quarter, they just ran 6 plays for the Eagles. That was weird, and no first downs, 3 yards. So that was, I don't know what that was, but I mean, because they were I think they were checked, but it's something that's definitely clicking for them. Our Darius Washington, Marcus Williams, has been now benched. Now at safety. Now he was actually a healthy scratch. Eddie Jackson's gone. Tre'Davious White, he now is in rotation, and you're now seeing Chris Board more in passing downs. There's still there's improvement, but there's still needs of improvement. So I'm really proud of what I'm seeing so far from the defense, but it's a sign from what we've seen the first much of this season outside of that. But for the Ravens, though, that was pretty much my only positive of the game. Outside of that, I mean, our negative is just offensively. I mean, positive wise, Mark Andrews, I mean, he was kind of our bright spot. He moved up in the records for franchise catches, 47 touchdowns, 6 catches, 76 yards, 67 yards. But Lamar Jackson, he was held to 237 yards. He had 2 touchdowns, but I mean, that didn't really do anything. I think Justin Tucker will be fine. I don't think it's all on him. I think it's a special teams thing. It's something, but Nick Moore, something Jordan Stout's doing. I think everyone needs to be evaluated, because I don't understand if we cut him. This is what I don't understand about the logic. If we cut Justin Tucker, I don't know what that's proving, because if whoever we bring in here, if they struggle too, then we can't cry wolf and saying, "Dan, can we bring back Justin Tucker?" I just think that's just weird. So, yeah. Anywho, I'm gonna get off that, but yeah, credit to the defense. They definitely get a game ball for sure. Holding for Philadelphia, I think it was the 15. It was 4-12 on third downs, 4-6 punts, 4 straight times to open up the game. So Jalen Hurts was held to 118 yards, 1 touchdown. He was sacked 3 times. A.J. Brown was had 66 yards receiving on 5 catches. So we did all the right things. So, but respectfully, I need it starts with offense. I love Lamar, but Lamar sometimes has to, take over the game. I mean, you complete 63% of his passes, but come on, there's a lot of plays. And actually, let me back up. I'm not going to put all that on Lamar. As an offense, we left a lot on the field. I mean, and there was for Lamar particularly to run the football and certain opportunities to scramble and pick up positive yardage. I don't understand that. So, yeah, we'll see. But respectfully, the Ravens have a bye week. and they have 4 games left. And I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. They might go 500. They have to face the Giants, the Texans, Steelers, and the Browns again. I'm not confident with them at all. I don't see it, because at this point of the season, you are who you are, and winning the AFC North. If you look at a team like Pittsburgh, who has been playing well, because you already hurt yourself by starting off 0-2. I mean, getting to 8-5 is not an easy feat. I still think you can win the division, but when you watch Pittsburgh battle out Sunday with Cincy, I thought that was a good game. Cincy is just listen. That is a sleeping giant that will be awoken with the Bengals. So, yeah. Let's use this bye week to kind of evaluate some things, get everybody healthy. But I mean, personally, I'm not really for it, because their first game is against the Giants. So we'll see how that looks. And then Pittsburgh on the 21st, because that game will definitely determine how we look in the AFC North. And then there's Houston, and there's Cleveland. So I get it. We know we've had some players that are not healthy. Kyle Van Noy didn't play, so because of neck and hamstring injuries. But we'll see. But I hope this bye week gets everything kind of going. I know in January we're a good team, but we're in December. So yeah, that's what happened with the Baltimore Ravens this weekend. So that was rough. That was definitely a rough one for sure. And wasn't surprised. But for the Eagles, the Eagles will be fine. Listen, I think Saquon Barkley is a bona fide star. This notion, I don't know where this. I want to speak on this real quick. This notion that he should have stayed in New York. New York is a crappy team. They're not good. They've for 6 years while he was there, they had a chance to build this thing around him, and it failed. And a lot of that starts with front office decision making. People can blame Daniel Jones all they want to. I think he is a piece of the problem, but he's not the full problem. It's how you build a team, and that starts with management. So I think him on Philadelphia, I think you're just seeing him thrive more in a offense where there's actual better talent as a whole. They did all the right things. So, I think they could challenge Detroit in the NFC Championship game. But I still think Green Bay may have something to say about that. Minnesota, but Philadelphia is doing all the right things. So they're now 10-2 in the year. Congratulations for them. They're doing all the right things. So Saquon Barkley should be in the MVP conversation. But hey, well, we will see. But respectfully, I was a little disappointed. I was looking to see how both guys would have looked, Derrick Henry and Saquon, and it just kind of just didn't really look like it. Just really wasn't statistically, the stats won't show it, but it just wasn't like okay, I'm ready for that matchup. So congratulations to the Philadelphia Eagles for sure. Ladies and gentlemen, we will take a quick break, and we're going to get into one final thought.
thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize.
One final thought. So, last couple of days, we're all pretty the conversation that has been around the Aziz Al-Shazir, linebacker for the Houston Texans. Mr. Al-Shazir was suspended for 3 games because of the hit against Trevor Lawrence as they played the Jacksonville Jaguars. In the last couple of days with the discourse, a lot of things have come out. You know, with the league needs to make a rule change. You know, we've seen DeMarco Ryan speak out. The general manager for the Houston Texans speak out. The statement by former offensive lineman John Runyon, which we'll get into in a second. First and foremost, I'm just going to give my thoughts. I think he should have been suspended for at least 2 games. First and foremost, I don't know him, but looking at the tape, he is a repeat offender. But I will say this. The NFL has not been consistent with its foul calling, all those things. Brian Branch got suspended for a game. Oh my gosh. Joseph. Oh my gosh, I can't think of his first name now. This season alone, the NFL has been inconsistent. But I'm hoping that if we're going to go this route, that the league is consistent, and you don't just scapegoat him and saying, "Well, 3 games," because I've seen some stuff, some hits like that over the years. Now, listen, the league needs to change the rule, because unfortunately, what's going to end up continue to happen is guys are going to get hurt. That's a fact. Are there quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen? Do they take advantage of the rule? Yes. But in this case, you see a guy like Trevor Lawrence. He's literally going down to the ground, leading with your forearm. That's crazy. Now, one thing I disagree with DeMarco Ryans is about. He's defending his guy, and that's fine. But we're simply talking about the reaction. If CJ Stroud had took that hit, and here's the thing, it doesn't have to be CJ Stroud. If it was Joe Mixon, if it was Dalton Schultz, Tank Dell, if they took hits like that, you wouldn't say those things. But I think, number one, it's in the motion of the game. You're trying to win. You're trying to win the game. Unfortunately, Houston lost the game 23-20. So you're trying to will your team, both sides trying to will yourselves to win the game. So there's a lot of frustration. It's intense. Everybody is riled up. I get it. But at the end of the day, he can also be held accountable. But we can say the same thing for other players. Aaron Donald, over the years, has gotten away with a lot of stuff. We never called him a dirty player. I believe it was a dirty play, but it was excessive. Again, we can with Al Shazir, we can go back and look. Chicago, that was crazy. A player goes out of bounds and you hit him from behind. What? That's unnecessary. But I say all that to say, which transitions me to my next point. Mr. John Runyon, who was offensive lineman for the Philadelphia Eagles, he's the one who made the statement in suspending in the suspension of Aziz Al-Shazir. And what was weird was this was his statement. And I quote, "You lack sportsmanship and respect for the game of football, and all those who play, coach, and enjoy watching it. Is troubling and does not reflect the core values of the NFL. There is a video that is on X. You can even find it on YouTube yourselves. Of this is at the time. This is a former offensive lineman who is now an NFL vice president of football operations, saying you lack respect. You lack sportsmanship and respect for the game of football. They're playing this is when he's in Philadelphia. They're playing the San Francisco 49ers. He literally runs over head first and diving headbutts somebody in their chest. Well, not wasn't that diving headbutt, but he leaps and pushes them. Let me clarify that. How can you say you lack sportsmanship and respect for the game, but as a player, look what you did? See, like, and my concern is I feel like we're going down a rabbit hole that I think the league knows it doesn't want to go down. Listen, he should have been suspended 2 games. I think 2 games was fair. I think even if it got reduced to a game, that's fine. I think 3 was a bit much, but 2 games to me was minimum. It was fair. I don't think that's cool. But there has to be some form of accountability. But I'm hoping that this sets the tone for the rest of the league, and you don't just single him out, in my opinion. Now, I'm hoping we can. I would like to get everyone else's thoughts on this, but I'm really like, wow, because the conversation the last couple of days has been something. And secondly, and more importantly, I might need to brush up on my research on the CBA from the NFL. He's not supposed to be a part of, like, at the team facility for, I think, like 3 to 4 weeks. I'm pretty sure you can contact him or something. I mean, but that doesn't stop him from reaching out to a therapist or something. He just can't have contact with the team. But because the GM kind of made it seem like, well, we can't do anything. He's like, it just was weird. And I get it. That's his player. He's upset and all those other things. But I also I disagree that to sit there so he doesn't have a history when there's evidence of that. I thought that was asinine on him to say that. That's just my opinion. We can agree to disagree on that. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that the league does something about this, because it has to come to a stop, because guys are going to continue to get hurt if it's not addressed. And I'm just going to leave it at that. So y'all let me know your thoughts on this conversation. I would like to get your thoughts, and let's be respectful. In the comments about it, because I'd like to have a conversation, dialogue about it. Because listen, we're all football fans. We all have a love and passion for the game. We've seen hits like this over the years. I mean, this is nothing new. We know the NFL. We know how the NFL is. NFL is just at times can be very, very interesting with certain stuff. Let's just say it like that. But that's going to do it for me in this video. Be tuned for future episodes, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning into this podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe for our future content. And all the links to where you can find me and the other socials are in the description below or somewhere here on the video as you click. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And we'll see you on the flip side soon. Peace. Stay out.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you.